next guest became a pop icon when his debut single, Never Gonna Give You Up, went to the top of the charts in 1987 in 16 countries. He dominated the charts around the globe for the following 2 years and is now about to embark on a UK worldwide tour. Please welcome Rick Astley! Rick, it's lovely to see you back.
And you?
I mean, you look no different at all than when we last met.
You're a lovely man. You're a lovely man for saying that.
So, new tour. I love the title of it. Hey up, it's Rick Astley.
Yeah, well, I kind of thought you know, I don't really go on tours anymore so much. I do lots of concerts with lots of other people from the 80s. In fact, after this tour, I'm going to South Africa and to Australia and what have you. And I just thought, you know, when I do my own little thing, I'd like to have a bit of fun with it. So we're going to do that on stage, and that starts with the title of it, you know.
Wonderful. Now, tell me, I mean, because you said you'd retired. I mean, 20 years ago. You just touched the Frank Sinatra's here. So,
okay.
I'm not complaining. What made you decide to come back?
A number of things. When I kind of quit, our daughter had just been born. And when I started singing again, she was probably 14, 15, and, you know, beginning to have her own life kind of thing, do you know what I mean? And leaving Dad and her mum behind a little bit. So I kind of felt that it was fine for me to be away again, and, you know, I was really lucky to have that time at home.
So how old is she now?
She's 20, and she doesn't live at home anymore. She actually lives in Denmark.
I thought you were only 25.
No, come on.
Oh, so she's Danish.
Yeah, her mum's Danish, and she's gone to Denmark to study, which I love. I think it's great. It's given us so many options, you know, so...
What can people expect to see, then? Is it new stuff, old stuff?
Yeah, I've recorded some new songs, a new album, and I'm going to play a bunch of new songs. Obviously, I'm going to play sort of my old favourites, because I'd get lynched if I didn't.
I was going to say you wouldn't be lynched if you didn't play that. You know?
But also, because I did retire for such a long time and I kind of, you know, didn't go out and tread the boards all the time and everything, I actually enjoy singing those old songs. They kind of bring back a lot of memories for me, and I've had a great life because of those songs, you know. You were absolutely huge at that time. What are the things that you remember most fondly about those days? I think a lot of the travelling I really, really loved in the beginning. I think it got to me in the end, to be honest. It was too much travelling in the end, but the first probably year or so of it, I went to places that you would never, ever go. You know, Japan, places like that. I've since been to places like South America and stuff and what have you. And you know, it's not a typical... I think everybody travels further afield these days for holidays, but going back then, 20-odd years ago, you know, to go to somewhere like Japan was kind of a very odd thing to do. And that's what music gave me, you know, so it's amazing. Because
the Nolans I was speaking to last week, and the Nolans were bigger in Japan than the Beatles. They sold more albums in Japan, the Nolans and the Beatles. But you find them receptive. Do audiences vary from continent to continent?
They do vary a bit, yeah. I think, you know, Japan in particular is somewhere that's noted supposedly for being very polite and what have you, but I think that's changed a bit over the years. But, I mean, I like, obviously, UK audiences I really like playing in front of because it's kind of home turf, do you know what I mean? And also you can have a bit of fun, you can have a bit of banter and stuff. And unless you speak... I've just been in Spain playing, and unless you actually, and I do not, speak fluent the language, then you're kind of a bit, you know, so, yeah.
I get the impression, just by the twinkling in your eye, that you actually having a ball coming back and doing it again. Is youth wasted on the young, you know? Do you enjoy it?
I think what it was, I think when I was having my 15 minutes of fame, it was so hectic, it was so intense that a lot of the time I didn't really get a chance to kind of even realise whether I was enjoying it or not. Like I say, I really loved a lot of the travelling. I thought that was amazing. And certain things that happened were great, but a lot of it, you know, it's hard to grasp it while you're actually in the middle of it, really.
So if you were to offer advice now to somebody who's starting out, who's perhaps just made it big on X Factor, who's just come up in the business, what's the advice from the seasoned old pro? What would you say?
The first one is get a really good lawyer. That's my first one. I'm still with the same manager that I've been with for over 20-odd years, and we're really good friends, and you know, we see eye to eye on things.
Why do you need the lawyer?
The lawyer... I've never had any real difficulties with legal battles and what have you in the industry, to be honest, but I also think because I had really, really good deals and really good people to sort them out.
A lot of people might need a lawyer because there's a lot of disputes going on.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and obviously you hear about that, don't you, where people have, you know, supposedly made a lot of money and then, you know, they reach whatever age it is in life and they're bankrupt and all the rest of it. And that's a terrible thing to see because a lot of people are still really famous as well in their own way, do you know what I mean? So And sometimes it's nice to have a bit of money to cushion some of the negatives of that, you know.
And an album on the way?
Yeah. I've made a new album and stuff, and I've just started playing some of the new tunes now, and as I say, we're going to do that on this little tour that I'm going to do. And I'm actually in rehearsals at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it, because I love singing my old tunes, but it's nice to have a new one to sing every now and again.
It's nice to have you. We're never going to give you up. Rick's tour begins on the 17th of October in Manchester. My thanks to Rick Astley.
Cheers, thank you. Thanks, Alan. Thank you.